What's going on? It's your boy Radical Rom here, and today we're bringing you a live race day footage from the Mud Gears and Tears, powered by Casey Jones Distillery. And this right here is the beginner's race, and it's essentially just pretty much all the new people who have never raced before, which was me, one other guy, and this little kid who was absolutely shredding it, and essentially just boiled down to me and the other full-grown adult for this race here. And essentially at the beginning I kind of took off like I was expecting the race to actually happen fully, but I kept looking back and they weren't coming, so I decided just to back off a little bit and kind of take it at race pace, but a little bit slower, just to kind of get a feel for the course. I pre-rode the course a few times, but it was an eventful kind of situation where it wasn't super hard, it wasn't super easy, but essentially what we're going to do here is we're going to kind of like take you through the first lap. And this right here is the start finish straight, and that was a little bit of a rear wheel slide out. So essentially what happened here was I got in and was kind of panicking, and I was just asking people, hey, what tire pressure are you running? What tire pressure are you running? What tire pressure are you running? And I initially pumped my tires up to about 40 psi because I heard start at 50, and if it's not grippy enough or you're sliding out too much, lower it and move on. So I ended up hearing go with 30. So I went with 30. Actually, some guy told me 32, and I was like, I'm not getting that precise. You guys know me. I'm just roughing it out here. So this guy right here is the other guy in the beginner's race. It was his first Cat 5 race. He was definitely... He was a good wheel to sit on, because it looks like he'd done some mountain biking or something before, whereas I'm strictly a roadie and I have no clue what I'm doing, and I should not be anywhere near a cross race. So this hill was a little fun, just a little hill to get out of there. And later on you'll see this guy and me in the later 4-5 race, essentially in the same position, only it plays out just a little bit differently. So here we go, we're coming down on the gravel section, and the gravel section is super fun. I knew if I was going to make any move here, because I talked to this guy a few times, and he rode this hill that's coming up every time up. So I knew if I was going to make any headway on him, I'd have to make the move right here and get in front of him on the gravel. So we get a little bike wash here in a second, and it's still pretty compact because it was the third race or fourth race, so all the mud hadn't been kicked up yet. So here's the hill. So I get off my bike here, dismount, and as you can tell, a little sideways, but it's all good. We're going to run up this hill, and this hill gets super steep, to the point where I think towards the top it's like 20-odd%. I don't know if that's true or not, because I was going off my watch, so here's a high possibility that that's actually not the case. But as you can tell, here's creeping up 20, 21, 22, 23, and so on and so forth. So later on you'll see higher gradients, so which makes me think that it's not quite accurate. So here we go on the top. I'm pretty much in my easiest gear here, just because this is a slight falls flat and I'm kind of screaming at my legs right now. The guy's still behind me, just kind of letting him go. He's just, for some odd reason, letting me go, which I found he was just trying to pre-scope it, even though he built the course. Apparently he was one of the guys who built the course, which was super awesome. This deer stand here to the left was awesome. Smelled like beer. It was great. So every time I rode by there, I was just jonesing for a beer. And back there at the top of the hill was the beer handout, but nobody was there, and I wasn't about to stop. So we just kept on moving. So we've been climbing this whole time, pretty much from the bottom of the hill to right up here in just a few seconds. We'll be going back down the hill. And back down the hill is kind of fun because I'm a chicken shit. So we're going down this hill, and it should be something along the lines of like a 30-mile-an-hour hill. And if you look here to the left, you'll see that my speed's nowhere near that. I'm just essentially just a chicken shit and can't pull the trigger on not hitting the brakes. So on the brakes here, and then kind of off the brakes here to kind of try to build up as much speed as I can. And this next right-hand turn is pretty sharp, and at this point in time, it wasn't exactly it wasn't wore out like it was later on in the race, so it brakes a little bit loose there. And if you remember from the beginning clip, you'll recognize this. This is the best fall ever. So essentially what happened was I was trying to, before the race, I was trying to figure out how to ride that, and I kept just running into issues riding it, and I had one guy come out and kind of like walk me through the course, and hey, you should do it this way, you should do it that way during the race, and all you gotta do is just ride through it, man. Just hit it, keep the weight on the back wheel, hit your low gear, and just don't hammer on the power. Just ease on the power. This is not road racing. This is cross. Take it easy on the power. And as you can tell, I ended up on my ass, which was hilarious. And I'm hopefully gonna lower down the audio on this on the background so that way you don't hear me dying. But pretty much at this point in time, I was pretty well gassed. The only reason why I got up so quickly there, it felt like I was on the ground forever. I looked back and the guy was like right there. As you can tell, you can see him right there in the bottom left hand of the screen. He was passing about ready to come up this hill. So here we are climbing the hill, the second hill in the race really, and this thing got a little tricky later on, but in the first race it went over pretty well. And you should watch out for that tree on the left. I think I don't know why it's there. They should have just marked off that part. But this really felt wide for a cyclocross course. I've been watching a lot of like the pro courses, and all those courses feel super narrow. And these are just very, very wide. It felt like they could have narrowed it up a lot more and made it a little bit more claustrophobic. But here we go, up the last little bump before coming back around into the start-finish straight. So we're going to go up here and make a 180 hairpin, go back down the hill, and back up to the start-finish straight. And that's essentially kind of the first lap in a nutshell. It was my first lap on the course at race pace. It was about 7 minutes, which I think is pretty good. That puts us at 4 to 5 laps for the 30-minute race, which essentially is I didn't think I'd be able to do, and I actually, coming up later on, we'll see what happens, but that we ended up running at about we ran 4 laps on the 4-5 race, and though I'm pretty proud of how I did, it could have went a lot better. Life was looking a lot better at the beginning. So here we go to the end of the 4-5 race. As I'm coming up over the top, his kids are cheering there on the left. They're just, go dad, go dad. It was great. It was great. So here we go, coming across the line, give a little dig for the end, just to look like I'm not dying. Come over the line and out to see the family. And what you can see in front of me now. So the family's there. Big old race. So here's the beginning of the Cat 4-5 race, and essentially perfect hole shot. Right there at the very beginning, you can hear, damn, he hit the hole. He blasted the hole shot or something along those lines. And I was just smiling this whole time. Just, yeah, I killed it. That was awesome. So I knew that cyclocross races started fast. So I did what I do in Zwift, and I just hit it from the gate. A lot lower gearing and probably not as much power, but definitely hit it right out of the gate. And here in a minute, you'll see a guy in a Texas Roadhouse kit, green and black. He'll come up beside me, and I talked to him after the race, and he was all, I didn't know it was going to be that kind of race, but apparently, yeah, when you hit that whole shot, I knew it was going to be that kind of race. So here he is. He's got a felt, got his GoPro going, got his head unit going. He's on it. So here's the beginning of our first lap. So I didn't slide out like I did on the first lap with that. So here, following his line through, fucking wiped out. And yeah, that's freaking hilarious. Alright, so pick the bike up, let's go. Catch back on. So I'm going to blame that crash solely on the fact that I had a flat 5 minutes before the race. So I had to go from tubeless to tubed in 5 minutes and still make it to the start line, which I was pretty much pulling up to the start line as they called go. So here I am trying to catch back on. I ended up having to, the reason why that I blamed the tire is because I ended up having to put 40 psi as opposed to 30 psi, and I blamed that on just not having the grip there, and I don't necessarily know if that's the case. It could have just been my bad line or something along those lines. So here we go, I'm chasing on. Chase these guys all the way through to all the way through this lap. And essentially I just keep closing on them. I'm just burning matches here, trying to catch back on, because I knew there was a guy behind me, but this is about the closest I ever was. Look up the hill here. They are just right there. And this is the end of that same lap.
One gear only.
And I thought for certain I'd be able to catch them, but c'est la vie, right? They get to the top of the hill. I'm just gasping for air here. That heart rate down there says 145, but I don't believe it. I'm sure it's somewhere in the 180s. I wasn't running a heart rate monitor. I was just running the Garmin 528, not 520, but the Vivo Active heart rate thing. So here we go. Later on, the guy that was behind me catching me. So we're kind of rolling through here. I end up taking a bad line through this corner just because I'm still a little sketched out by these little switchbacks. And he takes me on the inside. So I'm like, all right, this is the same thing that happened last race. Let's just make this happen. Let's make the passes. Let's just stay in front of them, and you'll be on the podium. So this guy, we were fighting for third. I'm like, all right, sit on. Don't blow up. Just breathe, and stay on his will. So, as you can tell, the chains are slapping all over the place. And oh, one thing I forgot to mention was when I went down last lap, I didn't have the ability to shift gears after.
Yep.
So it was just trying to shift gears and nothing's happening. I don't know what happened. My bike will shift gears while the tire's out, but if the tire's in and the wheel's in, it won't shift gears. So as you might have heard there, I said inside. I feel like coming from the road scene, it might be slightly more different in the cross scene, but in the road scene, it's very important to communicate, especially when you're taking corners side by side, just to make sure it doesn't feel like, make sure you're not running into people, because nobody wants to end up on the ground. Everybody wants to stay rubber side down, and everybody wants to finish the race. So letting them know, coming on the inside. So here I go. I made the pass. Perfect. Everything's going stellar. A little bit of slide out. All right. So here we go. Repeat of the beginner's race. Time to hit this hill and run as fast as I can up this damn thing, so that way I can keep in front. Stay on the podium. And I'm going. And it's steep. And I'm dying. And my shoes suck. But that's neither here nor there. I am dying here. And he goes, hey, I'm coming by. I was like, I have nothing to stop you. Like, I have nothing to stop you from going over. See, there you go. Heart rate, 186, 185. So he goes on past me. And I'm like, yes, there he goes. So let's just hold on his will. And then that's the last I heard of him. And essentially it just boils down to, ended up having a bad day, bad luck. It's not, it's partially motor, but it's mostly just little mechanical things that got me this year. But it's been a great year of racing, and thanks everybody for watching.